Hi everyone, I'm Tally, this is Farrell and we are Bored of It, and we're here today with our preview video for Wild Duo. This is a really lovely little box that has 5 games all in one, all about different wild animals, and all of them are for 2 players. This is a prototype that we were very kindly sent by the publisher.
So in each one of these games, it's based around you could say habits or social structure, or however you want to term it, of a different animal type. And these are all abstract games. So you're essentially moving game pieces around a board in various ways, trying to complete a goal against the other player. So let's go quickly through each game and then we will tell you what we think.
Okay, so we're just briefly going to go through each game and how to play, starting with the first game over here, which is based on the Manakin bird mating dance. And you start the game with each player having 6 tokens of their own colour, so white versus purple. And on your turn, you can either place a token on the board or move a token that's already on the board 1 space. There is a little kind of bonus if your token is on the matching colour square on the board. So if the purple token is on the purple square, you can move all the way along that kind of purple track, so you're not limited to 1 space. Once a player gets 4 of their tokens in a row, kind of like Connect 4, then they will win the game. However, the little wrinkle is that you can convert the opponent's tokens to your colour by trapping them. So if there's a purple token, a white token and a purple, the white one in the middle is trapped and will get flipped to being purple. So that's obviously beneficial when you're trying to get 4 in a row. However, another little twist is actually if you get 5 in a row, you instantly lose the game. So you do have to be a bit careful about where you're trapping and if you want to trap, because you could inadvertently get 5 in a row and instantly lose. So I think that's the gist of that one, right?
Yeah.
I'm not very good at this one.
I love this one. It's my favourite.
You won every game, right?
Yep.
So moving up to the whales. Here, there's 2, I guess, what are whales called? Pods? Pod of whales.
I think it's pods.
2 opposing pods, and the tokens for each pod start on opposing ends of the board, and they're mostly whales, so they're all whales, except there's 1 school of fish of each player's colour. And the idea is that you have to get your coloured fish into the whirlpool in the middle of the board. However, here you can move your tokens kind of anywhere, but the twist is that they slide along. So you can't just decide that you want to move it 1 square unless another token is blocking it. They always slide to the kind of maximum that it can. So the kind of twist here is that you have to kind of try and place your tokens or use your opponent's tokens to manipulate where you want to, put yours. But it's very difficult because when we were playing it, I kept thinking, well, I'll just move it 1 square. It's fine. And then, no, you have to move it all the way along until it can no longer go any further. So, yeah, quite tricky, this one. And I personally kept ended up in a trap where you could easily just move your fish token into the middle of the board, and there's nothing I could do about that. And I think I helped you along in certain times because my tokens were the ones kind of blocking so that your fish wouldn't slide along. They could just pop themselves into the middle.
Yeah, the whales and the mannequins, I don't think you've ever won.
That's correct, no. But let's move on to sea lions, shall we?
Yeah, go on then.
That's equal, right?
Equal.
Yeah, so this one we were equally good at for each other. So again, 2 opposing pods of sea lions. I actually don't know what a group of sea lions is called.
I think I knew once.
Yeah, group of sea lions. And you can move along kind of pre-existing tracks or lines, but they can go around the line that's already there or kind of straight along. Any number of spaces, again, until it kind of gets blocked by a token. And the goal here is to surround your opponent's tokens. So one sea lion just has to get trapped by the opposing sea lions to win the game, essentially.
Well, you can even use your opponent's sea lions against them. It's just that you win by your opponent having a piece that they cannot move anywhere.
Yeah, true. Yes, exactly. One just has to be trapped by any sea lions. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much the gist of it. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Yeah, pretty straightforward.
So, shall I take on the next team?
Yes.
Okay, so then we have elephants, and this is based on the way that elephants will group together and split apart and make new groups. And so you have the two colors, and what you're doing is you move an elephant group as many spaces in a straight line as there are elephants. So, for example, at the beginning, every single one can only move one, like that. And then you kind of capture your opponent's pieces, you could say. And the goal of the game is to have stacks of 4 or more elephants in your color. So whichever player has the most herds of elephants wins. And so now, if I move this one, I'd go like that, 1, 2. And so it's about basically being the top color on these herds and defending against your opponents. But that's more or less it. You want to make stacks of 4 and have more than your opponent.
Yeah, it's very tricky when you start getting stacks though, right? Because then you have to move
the movement's quite limited,
of tokens in the herd. Yeah, so you can't just go, okay, I'm just going to add to that one. You have to really think about, okay, I have to move 3. Where should I best go?
Then finally, we have the monkeys in the mountains, which is about controlling territory or at least like winning the territory on a mountaintop. And here you're trying to pin your opponent's pieces between your own pieces. So 3 different ways. You have an alpha monkey, which can essentially, with any other monkey of your color, if you trap an opponent's piece in between the two in any kind of which way, then they lose it. Alternatively, you can use 2 of the same type. So there's females and bachelors, as they call them. So if you have 2 females or 2 bachelors that trap an opponent, then you can also get rid of their opponent. And finally, you can also use your opponent's pieces against them if, say, you have a female and they're female, and then there's a different piece in the middle. Or you could just move your alpha monkey into your opponent's alpha monkey spot.
Yeah.
For an instant win.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting because it's more about the type of monkey than the colour, right? So the types work together, so you have to be a bit worried that your own pieces won't betray you.
Yeah, so those are the games in brief, and now let's go to what we think about them. This was actually our first experience really with abstract games, besides something like chess, specifically in kind of board game form. And I think we were very pleasantly surprised. We had a lot of fun. I think we really enjoyed the way that it's kind of like on the surface simple and cute, but also very thinky, very quickly. These rules for each of these games are often only 1 or 2 paragraphs, and then you're away. And yet you get a lot of kind of gameplay out of these simple rule sets. And they're also games that give. So obviously the more you play, especially with the same person, you're going to get more out of it as you learn the tips and tricks. I definitely feel like, because we've played all of them only a handful of times, I can feel that if we kept at them, we would be getting more out of it, essentially. Yeah,
definitely. Similar to what you were saying, I was very surprised at the kind of, I don't want to say depth, but the space for having to really think about what you're doing. Obviously they're not as complex as chess, but it was really giving me that vibe where you have to really be able to analyze a lot of different potential moves to figure out which is the best one for you, what you think then your opponent will be able to do if you move your piece here or if you move it there. Actually, no, that'll allow them to do that. So it is surprisingly thinky, I would say. But yeah, no, I think they're really lovely games personally. I can see us taking this on holiday or something like this, 5 different games in this relatively small box. I think it's a really, really nice concept. I like that they're all based on kind of real life, let's say, wildlife behaviours. I think it gives it an extra element of, I like things that are maybe a little bit based more on something real for me, like real animals, places, stuff like that. So yeah, really, really like them.
In the rulebook as well, it's sort of the classic thing of where it actually goes into a lot of depth and has kind of facts and explains the like animal behaviors these games are based on, because they're all based on real life animal behaviors or social structures or, you know, mating dances.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a nice angle as well. And also one thing I really love about this publisher, because we previously collaborated with them on Zoo Tycoon, the board game, is that Triceratops, they always, when they come to a Kickstarter, at least what I've experienced from these two, basically the games are finished. The Kickstarter is basically to get the money to make them. And I really appreciate that, because, you know, a lot of Kickstarters you'll have and they don't even have a defined rule set.
Yeah.
And you could be years, whereas I think with Zoo Tycoon, they had it to back us within a year of the Kickstarter, which is far better than average.
Yeah.
So also I really appreciate getting these like finished games and as a prototype and playing them, because that was quite nice from our standpoint.
Yeah.
So how would you rank the games then? I think that might be a good way.
Yeah. Oh, rank them. I was thinking about which one was my favourite, but I hadn't thought about a ranking. Probably the bottom one is maybe elephants or seals.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to say bottom because I love them all. I think I'm going to have to say the seal one, even though I was able to win that one. So that gets like 10 points instantly from me. I'm able to win anything. I just think it's like the least novel, maybe, just kind of sliding and like trapping. And there's not really a twist to it, I would say.
Yeah.
And then probably the elephants, even though I think it's pretty nice and cute. But I just think the others are more interesting.
Yeah.
And then I would probably say the birds is probably my third favourite.
Because you can't win it.
I cannot win that. If it was based on that, it would be last. And then I think I really love the monkey one because I was pretty good at it versus you. But I think I'm going to go for that one second. And I actually think the whale one is my favourite one, just because it really kept tripping me up. And and I think that's really, like, the challenge was really interesting to me, where it's just whales sliding around and trying to kind of figure out how to get your tokens to stop in the places where you needed them to be. I think it was just the most kind of challenging one for me in a good way, and that's why I liked it the most. But I think the monkey one is a really interesting concept because you're using other players' pieces against them, so that's probably providing a lot of like good laughs point in that way, I think.
So mine's fairly similar. I think my bottom one would be the elephant game. I just think it has the least there. It's the most straightforward, and it feels like the less gamey, if you know what I mean, because it doesn't, I don't know, I didn't get like a real Battle of Wills feeling from it, but it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Then the seals second. Then for me, I think the monkeys third, the whales fourth, and I think I really like the whales because it's like this bouncing system. It's like playing kind of old school, I can't think of the names of the games now, but you know, like kind of like phone games, or where you're like plinking stuff like back and forth.
Not like Pong.
Yeah, a little bit, or like kind of games like that, because you have to get the angles and then like bounce things off to stop it, and then bounce it to get like school of fish in the middle. I think it feels quite different from the rest of them, and it was quite novel. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then my favorite by far was the Manakin dance. I have a big soft spot for Connect 4, and it was basically that with like more twists. And I just thought it's really clever that you can capture the pieces, but maybe you don't want to because you could lose instantly. And there's some cool considerations where you can add anywhere on the board, but you can't win that way. So you can just add and get 4, right? You have to move in to get a 4. Or flip, I guess. But yeah, it was just very, very interesting. Twist on a game I really liked.
Yeah, I think with that one, it was maybe the most where I would just, maybe that's why I was bad at it, kind of make a move, you know, instinctually that, oh, this is a really good move, and then actually no, I didn't consider that and that. So it's like a really like cool framework for a challenge in a way, and you really have to consider the impact of every move that you're going to do, because it's very easy. You were just going, I moved one, and you're like, oh, I win.
Yeah, basically.
Damn it.
I think the bottom line is that we had a good time with all of these. Obviously, we enjoyed some more, but the thing is, I really do look forward to playing more of these and getting to grips and like understanding some strategies and watching out. Because sometimes I think the seal one in particular, we were kind of just moving them about. But I feel like when you get a couple of plays in, you really do start to see like openings and strategies.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, these all play in kind of, it can really depend on the level. But some of them, you know, they're over in 5 minutes or less, maybe go up to like 25 minutes if you're really like having that heated battle. But they all play in a really nice time, which means you can like play them over and over and over. They're lightning quick to set up, right? You just take the bag out and put the pieces on your way. So I think for us, being our first introduction to abstract games, we had a great time. And if it sounds like it's hard for us to recommend an abstract game because we have no other point of reference, but if this sounds like it's something for you, if you want something light but with a little bit of, you know, fun crunch to play with, if you want to play this with your family, if you like the theme of animals and social behavior, then we definitely recommend it, essentially. It's a
lovely little box.
There's nothing not to like about it if you enjoy abstract games. So I think that will wrap up for us, what we think. But we hope it was helpful, and if you have any questions, please just let us know. We're happy to answer them about Wild Duo. And most importantly, thank you for watching. So see you next time.
Bye.